Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first meeting for the StackRox community in 2023. I'm a community lead, Michael Foster, and I'm joined by my other community lead, Matthias Medinger. I'll just introduce you because it's so much easier to do it that way. We have a couple things that we want to get to before we kind of open the floor to some questions. First thing, I want to apologize for some delay in StackRox gear. There's been some issues just shipping around the world. So you should see an email if you've ever gotten a RoxStar or helped us out during Hackfest. You see an email, so check that. If not, please post in the channel and at me, and I will get you some gear as fast as possible. Another call I want to make is Cloud Native Security Cons coming up February 1st and 2nd in Seattle. Would love to see you there if you're in the area. I know flying and traveling is kind of hectic right now. So if you are, ping me. I think I have some extra tickets. So just add me in the chat as well in the Slack channel. And then one of the other, well, I guess I'll hand this over to you, Matthias, for the big sort of announcement, cautionary tale that we want to inform everybody about, this 3.74 update. Floor is yours.
So actually tomorrow will be our code freeze. If I remember correctly, tomorrow should be our code freeze for 74. So we are actually beginning the process of preparing the next release. And with that release, we're actually introducing some rather big changes. In the last update, we already had that as a kind of a beta or a developer preview, if you want to, which is PostgreSQL will be supersetting our current database setup in ACS and StackRox as well. Which means with the next upgrade, please be aware that your installation will be changed to using a Postgre database, which also means, please, people, be mindful, because this is a rather big change. You might get problems rolling back from you might get problems if you want to roll back from 74 to 73. So this might be one of the few occasions where we heavily recommend you to actually execute a backup before you upgrade to 74. The release is expected somewhere early to mid-February. So just as a rough pointer for you to plan. And in general, as always, we are very interested in your feedback, in your experience. For example, how performance changes, if you experienced any problems with the upgrade. So as always, please let us know either in this community meeting or in the Slack channel.
Mm-hmm. And typically after the code freeze, the documentation gets built. The preferred method of upgrading will be announced too. So we'll post the documentation in the channel when we know more about sort of the best way to move forward. And yeah, kind of open the thread to feedback as well. Any questions for anybody joining? I see Boaz, one of the PMs for the StackRox projects on. Dane, any thoughts? You've been working with StackRox for how many years now? So I'm kind of curious to get your thoughts on what you think of the database change.
It's exciting because I think it's maybe a precursor to Central being able to be multi-homed.
I got nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's definitely some performance capabilities that we're going to unlock here. So I know it's somewhat stressful, but exciting for the team, especially with the launch of the cloud service as well. So yeah, pretty cool time.
So basically, I mean, Postgre or changing to Postgre opens up a lot of paths. One of them is the possibility what Dane hinted at. So this would get easier, but also it enables users and customers to theoretically also bring their own database, which is something that is currently a little bit hard. And that would also enable you to more precisely scale it to your requirements.
Very, very cool. That's all we had for this month. It's a short one. A lot of our engineering team was off over the break, so I hope everybody feels rested and ready to go for 2023. Any questions to the floor? Anybody here? I know we had some questions in the chat. I'm trying to get to as many of those as possible. Madang, Boaz, anything you'd like to add? I will take silence as we're doing our job and the chat's open. But.
Yep. Here again to
Yeah,
listen. So nothing from me today.
Awesome. Go ahead, Vidang. Were you going to say something?
yeah, just first I would like to introduce myself. So like I'm a recent grad and currently I'm working with a startup named Innovator. So we use StackRox at our organization. So I kind of manage the StackRox integration with CI, etc. So that is why I just hang around on the Slack channel, and I thought of joining the community meeting today as well. So yeah, so it's been great using StackRox. We have like streamlined quite a lot of image scan pipelines, etc. with it. And like a basic doubt I could use this opportunity to ask is like we have deployed the central on a couple of clusters. So now what we want to do is one was old and one is the new one. So we want to move all the clusters, like all the connected clusters to the old one to the new. So like, is there any way to do that, or just like go to n number of clusters and just redeploy the Helm there?
Matthias, you want to take it?
So that is actually a use case that I have not tested myself, but from what
Okay.
what I remember, the main problem is if you roll out secure cluster services, you need to provide it an init bundle, and this init bundle is basically tailor-made by central. So if you want to switch a cluster to another central, you would most likely need to generate a fresh init bundle and then basically redeploy the secure cluster services. Am I right, Mike Foster?
Yep, that was my understanding. Vidang, have you found anything to the contrary?
Sure, sure. I would just say that the init bundle, like basically in the init bundle, there are just TLS certificates and the central endpoint. So if we could keep those same on both the clusters, then it should be fine, right?
So is there like an old central and a new central, and you want to
Yeah,
move?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So from my understanding, typically is you retire the old clusters, let's say,
Mhm.
from the central UI, and you go into each cluster, you remove all of those credentials, and then you basically join the old clusters to the new central in the same way that you would join them to any new cluster. You just
That's right.
really want to make sure that any of the certificates or secrets aren't left over, because that's going to really be a pain in the butt for you to
Right,
diagnose.
right, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Vidang, curious, why are you replacing your central rather than upgrading it?
well, but to be honest, I actually don't know because it was created very long back with the RoxETL command line tool, and it runs a quite old version of StackRox. And recently, in the 3.72.1, there was certain issue where StackRox was down around the world, right, for like a couple of hours. Yeah, so for in that around that time we thought of creating a new cluster so that we can manage the policies etc better and like have a new version of StackRox. So just to sanitize things, we created a new cluster.
A new cluster to host central? What do you mean a new cluster?
Central, yes.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. But so it's just kind of the choice, instead of upgrading slowly over time, you're just like, okay, now is the time since it's down. Let's just jump ahead a few versions and just move everything over.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. When do you have this planned, this migration?
Well, it would be just ongoing. I was just like doing like a kind of POC. Like if there is any way that we don't need to do changes on all the connected clusters, like because we have a significant number of them. So I was just doing the POC. So like nothing planned about the actual migration yet.
Are you on a cloud provider? OpenShift?
Yeah, we are
cloud provider.
AWS.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, if you had the operator, it'd be a lot easier for sure. But
Right.
Yeah, that is the challenge. I was going to say that the other option, if you use something like a Terraform template to bring up your AWS instances, that in the future, what you're going to want to do is add some of those add credentials to like your clusters when you bring them up, so that they automatically have that init bundle. So you can do that as an option, so that every new cluster or that gets brought up in AWS, like an EKS cluster, will have that init bundle. Then they automatically connect. Yeah.
Absolutely, got it.
Cool. And if you have any issues, obviously there's a bunch of essays and engineers in the StackRox channel. You're in there, right, Vidang?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So if you have any issues, just ping us. You can ping me and Matthias directly too if you want probably a little faster answer.
Sure.
Cool. Anything else? Otherwise, I'll post this video later today. And then when we have more information on 3.74 and the database migration, we will start the chat up as well. Cool. Awesome. Matthias, I'll let you sign us off.
All right. So this has been the 2023's first community meeting. So thanks everyone for participating. As usual, if you have any information, questions, or feedback, feel free to ping us in Slack. Otherwise, as always, there's also feedback emails. And with that, folks, stay healthy and see you next month.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks. Take care.